Good afternoon and welcome to The Rundown. I'm your host, Captivating Christian, and here are some of your top stories for today, the 6th of October. Donald Trump drives by supporters outside of Walter Reed and claims progress in another video. Graham and Harrison spar over the Supreme Court and COVID-19 in a furious Senate debate. The three-term Republican senator and his Democratic challenger are locked in a tight race in the deep red South Carolina. And the second juror in the Breonna Taylor case wants permission to speak freely. A small pipeline, large worries for South Carolina residents. Some residents in South Carolina are worried about losing portions of their land to a proposed natural gas pipeline. And a video shows a Versace executive getting stopped by cops because he was shopping while black. And a Florida man who requested a mail-in ballot for his dead wife told police he was testing the system. And actor Thomas Jefferson Byrd fatally shot in Atlanta. Let's get to the news. Claiming progress in his personal fight against COVID-19, President Donald Trump ventured outside for a little bit on Sunday to greet supporters who gathered at the hospital before returning to the facility. Trump was wearing a suit and a mask and waving to supporters from the back of an SUV as it passed the demonstrators at Walter Reed's Medical Center in Bethesda, Maryland. The White House spokesman said that the president had returned to his suite inside of the hospital after a short, last-minute ride to wave at his supporters. Trump video came hours after the Navy commander and the White House physician said that the president could be discharged as early as Monday. Trump received supplemental oxygen on Friday after the president had a high fever and his oxygen levels dropped below 94%. Trump experienced another dip in oxygen on Saturday, but did not discuss treatment. The president was given the steroid dexamethasone on Saturday following his oxygen drop. The World Health Organization recommends the drug only for severe and critical cases. Trump also completed his second dose of an antiviral drug on Saturday and will continue this 5-day course of the same drug. Welcome and good afternoon. Welcome once again to The Rundown. I am your host, Captivating Christian, and this is the segment where I like to just give my personal insight and opinion on the articles or this afternoon. But first thing first, let's get things started. And welcome to all new subscribers and new watchers of the channel. Hopefully you enjoy. I'd ask that you like, share, subscribe, hit that bell notification so you never miss another update of what goes on here at Cap Hill. And my state reps that are you in the chat, make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And it is always a pleasure to see you all. We, talk about all the issues. There's, nothing off limits in the chat. And for that, I thank you so much. So let's get down to business and let's have some fun. All right. So this first story, it seems like our beloved person in the whole wide world. Retard alert. Which is President Donald Trump has contracted coronavirus. Yeah, after months and months of basically saying that the virus itself was nothing more than...
It's all fake news. It's phony stuff. It didn't happen.
It seems like Corona, or Rona as some people say, came knocking at that door. FBI, open up! And has put the nation in a tailspin as far as the health of this president.
Jesus Christ.
Now, I personally, and this is just my personal thoughts, have always thought that maybe he possibly could have already had it and was kind of maintaining on whatever drugs they were giving him until it became a point where they could not hold it back anymore and they had to just come out and say something.
Damn!
So, and with Hope Hicks having it, who she used to be an advisor to the president in the White House. However, she wound up leaving to go work for the RNC.
Oh, hell no!
Which I personally think that Omarosa years ago, when she wrote her book last year or maybe 2 years ago, she had mentioned that the president was having an affair with someone in the White House. So I'm starting to wonder if maybe Hope Hicks, is the person that the president might have been having an affair with in the White House. I know, drama, right? But that's a little bit out of the way, and we can go back to that later. But the major point here is that the president, the person who's ignored the cries from many Americans about the severity of this virus, has now caught in it, and to the point where I guess now we're supposed to be taking it seriously, even when some of his supporters who were standing outside of Walter Reed still did not want to wear a mask. And I think that's ridiculous. Like, at this point, your person is sitting here in the hospital because they're sick and you still don't want to wear a mask?
What?
I think it's absolutely crazy. But to each his own. I guess, you don't know stuff stinks until you smell it for yourself. But anyway, so we're dealing with that. And I've heard many people say, get nervous about this, that, and the other. So let's go through some things. First and foremost, I personally think he got it to get out of the debate because of the horrible job he did. And the best way to do that is to fake an illness. And secondly, I think that, of course, this being October, this is their big October surprise to kind of, work on the heartstrings and the sympathy of the American people. So you think, oh, he has COVID? Oh, I'll vote for him because I feel sorry that he has COVID. Right, he better call on. But anyway, so moving past that, I hear a lot of talk about the line of succession for president. Okay, so let's be very clear. We have the President of the United States. Now, this act was in 1947. President Harry Truman signed the Presidential Succession Act. The original act back in 1792 had been placed the Senate President pro temp and the Speaker of the House as far as line of succession was concerned, right? But in 1886, Congress had removed them. And in 1947, the new law, it reinstated the officials, but however, it placed the Speaker of the House, the President pro temp. All right, so basically all this means is that if something, God forbid, happened to the President of the United States, the Vice President will then take the role as President of the United States. Now, even if it's in an election year, that still happens, and an election still goes on. It does not cancel out an election because you need all of Congress to do that. It may delay it depending upon it, but it does not stop the election process. Now, with that, the new acting president, which the vice president would be, God forbid, would then nominate a vice presidential candidate, and the Congress, that's both the House and the Senate, then will, upon the nominees, vote on their pick for vice president from the choices that the newly confirmed president has made. And that's how that works. Now, if the president and vice president were both stricken by something for whatever reason, then the Speaker of the House will then become the President of the United States. And that's how that works. Jamie Harrison and Lindsey Graham have been battling it out over the airwaves for months. On Saturday night, however, as the surprisingly competitive South Carolina Senate race has reached a fever pitch, they finally met face-to-face on the debate stage. Harrison accused Graham of flip-flopping on words and breaking the trust of his voters. Graham, the three-term GOP incumbent, warned South Carolinians that they wouldn't recognize their country if Democrats took control in Washington. Those two arguments took center stage at a furious debate held 1 month before the election day. The two disagreed on the COVID-19 response and upcoming Supreme Court confirmation fight Graham will head, and police reform, among a host of other issues, including the flood on TV ads unleashing onto the state thanks to Harrison's fundraising and the late involvement of super PACs from both parties in the race. Graham leaned heavily on his role as Judiciary Committee Chair in the upcoming confirmation hearing of the Supreme Court Justice pick by President Donald Trump, the nominee. He promised the process would move forward, even as two members of the Judiciary Committee who met with Ballot this week tested positive for COVID-19, forcing the Senate to alter its schedule for the next 2 weeks. Harrison criticized Graham for pressing ahead given the infection. He stood with the plexiglass divider beside the lecturer to separate Graham, who tested negative for the virus earlier this week. Harrison did say that he did not blame Trump for the inception of the virus, but blamed the administration and Congress for its inadequate response to it. He also questioned Graham's word to voters in the state, pointing out that the Republican senator has previously said that he would not move forward on a Supreme Court nomination in the final year of Trump's term, but is doing so now. Graham responded that Ballot would be confirmed because Trump and Republican senators have a constitutional right to move forward. So also this past weekend, although all we talked about was Donald Trump being stricken with coronavirus, there was a debate on Saturday. It was the incumbent senator of South Carolina, Lindsey Graham,
"Look what the homosexuals have done to me,"
and his opponent, Jamie Harrison. And so in this debate, of course, the same old kind of mudslinging a little bit. However, Jamie Harrison did call out Lady Graham on a few things. One, his own words, to say the least. First, talking about the Supreme Court justice pick, as well as his words as far as the bills that he's created. And in 25 years, did you know in all of 25 years, he's only sponsored 3 bills in all of 25 years?
Uh-oh, retard alert!
I think he was too busy in DC for these 25 years he's been in office chasing
Penis!
that he has not been able to do his job at all.
Shit.
Well, Jamie Harrison definitely handed Lindsey Graham, I'll be nice, Lindsey Graham, a few of his own pointers, and also talked about how he would call the current president a xenophobe and homophobic and all these things, and how he could actually befriend him and, go golfing with him and all this other kind of stuff.
What?
It was pretty interesting. If you can get a glimpse of it, you should definitely check it out. But Jamie Harrison definitely did call out Lindsey Graham, and the race is pretty tight, with Jamie Harrison raising quite a bit of money, even matching Lindsey Graham's collection in the past few months. So we shall see, because this is the only debate that they got. So it's a one-hitter quitter type of deal. So hopefully, this worked in Jamie Harrison's favor, and he will get to unseat. He will get to unseat an incumbent senator who's been sitting in that red state for a long time.
Sweet Jesus.
So we shall see. Less than a week after an anonymous grand juror asked the judge to let the jurors speak freely about the Breonna Taylor case, another juror has expressed a similar sentiment. Louisville activist Christopher said on Sunday that he received a call on Saturday night in connection with a second grand juror from the jury that made the decision to charge one officer with the Walton endangerment for shooting into an occupied apartment next to Taylor's. No one was charged in Breonna Taylor's death, however. The Louisville attorney Ken Glover last Monday filed a motion on behalf of an anonymous juror demanding the release of the grand jury's transcript and requesting the jurors be allowed to give up their confidential status if they wish and speak freely about the case. The grand jury's recordings were released by the Kentucky Attorney General office on Friday, but jurors are still limited to speak out on the case. Okay, and in this particular story, here we have a second grand juror asking to be released from their kind of code of silence so they can speak out and speak freely about the Breonna Taylor case. Now, in all fairness, just this past weekend, just Friday, actually before the weekend, the Attorney General of Kentucky released the grand jury's transcript. Now, with that new information, I guess there is still information that some of the grand jury want to actually speak upon.
Oh, hell no!
Now, the first grand juror actually filed a lawsuit against the state that the AG held back information, and there was a lot of information that they were not privy to, and that also they wanted to actually charge the other 2 officers involved in Breonna Taylor's death, but they could not.
Damn!
By orders from the AG and the Justice Department. So this with the second person, actually saying that, hey, no, I would like to speak freely too because there's something I want to say.
Jesus Christ.
Also brings a lot of suspicion to what in the world is going on here with this case. It gets worse and worse and worse as the days go on. Now, on the flip side of all of this, it brings to light the corruption of the system itself.
Gotcha, bitch.
And, it lays bare all of the things that are wrong with the system.
Bruh.
So, in this, I truly, truly hope that we can come to clarity with all of this and understanding. And I'm sure that there is more to drop about this case. It's been such a cover-up situation that it can only be proven that there's a lot of corruption in these, red states that go quiet for a very long time. And it takes something like this to unearth it. And we're all sitting back like,
What the fuck is that?
just crazy, not knowing anything until this very moment. But for that, all I can say is,
Bye, Felicia.
because we never know these things. We always hear the verdict of the grand jury, but we never know how the process works. And maybe in knowing how the process works, we can gain a better understanding. But at the same time, the system can't be this corrupt in order for it to be trusted. So obviously it needs to be revamped in a way. So, they need to get to it because this is crazy. Now, I will say the only thing that makes me side-eye this is because it came from a third party. Allegedly, this activist had got a call from one of the other grand juror who wants to speak, and that's how he was able to relay the message to the media. So we don't know how true that source is, but if it is true,
Boy.
then that person needs to be heard. Also, the FBI is still doing their investigation, and that's the only reason why this has been going on so long. And I think the FBI Civil Rights Division was the driving force to push the AG to release the grand jury's evidence that they've seen and their documents.
What?
So we shall see how this goes and continues to flow. So bear with us and stay with me, and you'll get updates as soon as I get them. A Virginia-based utility giant, Dominion Energy, wants to run a new natural gas pipeline through the land of a rural black farmer. The proposed 14.5 mile long gas line is small in contrast to projects like the recently canceled Atlanta Coast Pipeline or the 55-mile pipeline Dominion built recently in the state. However, this pipeline threatens to stain the land where relatives have once grown tobacco, corn, and wheat, and where some, by the river, where some used to catch catfish for dinner. The company cites new energy demands spurring the economic growth in the southern part of South Carolina. Dominion declined to make anyone available for an interview, but said in a statement that the project could help attract growth, businesses, and adding jobs, and possibly lowering energy costs to residents. The gas main, designed to supply customers directly with natural gas, would run 14.5 miles from a valve station to a regulation station along the Great PD River, according to the Dominion submitted to the Army Corps of Engineers. it would traverse 65 pieces of private property along the way. Some environmental groups think that the pipeline's true purpose is to jumpstart a natural gas-fired power plant that state-owned utilities Santee Coopers have previously discussed building at the same spot where the proposed pipeline would end. The company has said it would use natural gas from a utility partner such as Dominion. A landowner in the area is proposed to the project and says that the concerns about the environmental damage, such as leaks once the pipeline is in operation, the explosions of the Dominion gas line in Ohio, and allegations over pollution involving coal ash in Virginia. Hey, this is Captivating Christian here to remind you to tune in to Politics and Wellness every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Politics and Wellness every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. So this particular story about Dominion Energy, of a natural gas company out of Virginia, is doing exactly what they have done for many years, and sometimes it has gone unnoticed and unreported, that they go into these communities of color in the South and basically either pay the people to leave so they can, kind of set up shop, or they force them out. And this is no different with the hopes and wishes that, if we build the plant here, that'll bring jobs and revive the town. And in actuality, they build a plant and they kick the people out, or the people that stay there because they have no choice and they can't afford to leave, wind up getting sick due to the waste that is then implemented in their community. So this is something that has happened a lot in many of the communities, and with the regulations kind of lifted due to the Trump administration, a lot of these chemical plants can just drop their chemicals in waterways and anything. That's why the Flint, Michigan crisis has continued, and still they have unclean water. So this is nothing new. Unfortunately, we are still dealing with the greed of many of these companies off the backs of disenfranchised people. So I don't know. And there's no sound effects really for this one because this is really serious. This one lady's farm, she's had the land for 100 years from her great grandfather, and this company wants to buy it from her. That's what they claim. But of course, with her being up in age and all of that, pretty soon they're probably just gonna wind up taking it because they have the power to do so. And it's sad that she doesn't have the backing of big names to help her save her farm. And this happens all over. So, I hope that she gets the attention and something gets done about it, because it is really serious that people can actually lose their land and have lost their land to big businesses. A Florida man was arrested Thursday after requesting a mail-in ballot for his deceased wife. A press release issued by the Manatee County Sheriff's Office states that on September 17th, deputies responded to a call from the supervisor of the Manatee County Elections Office in reference to a vote by mail ballot request for a woman who is deceased. Michael Bennett, the supervisor of the county's election office, told police that his staff members received 2 mail-in ballot requests from a Larry Higgins, age 62, and his wife, who was not named. While both requests were for the same address, staff members determined the woman's handwriting style on the request was different from her original voter registration documents. On October 1st, Wiggins was arrested at his home without incident and was charged with requesting a vote-by-mail ballot on behalf of another elector, the third-degree felony according to the sheriff's office. The Florida State Attorney's Office of the 12th Judicial District will prosecute the case. The arrest in Manatees County comes as thousands of voters across the country plan to vote by mail amidst the novel coronavirus pandemic, which President Donald Trump has widely criticized. All right, now in this particular story,
You stupid.
you know how the president has always said that there's, that the voting and the mail-in ballot is rigged and it's no good, it doesn't work. Well, this particular person claims that he was trying to see if the system worked. So, what he did was he winds up filling out for a mail-in ballot, not only for himself, but for his dead wife.
Oh, hell no.
So he applied for 2 ballots. It was brought to the attention from the people in the office of the elector because the 2 signatures on the deceased wife's voter registration card and stuff was different. And it, of course, alarmed the people that needed to be alarmed. And they called the necessary authorities, and he got arrested.
What?
So yeah, and this goes for everybody who sits there and listens to the president and thinks that if they do it, that the president will honor them in some kind of way.
You are fake news.
Trust and believe, it is all fake. He does not want to save you. He wants you to do it. You feel like you're doing something for the nation. In all actuality, what will happen to you is they will come knocking at your door, something like this.
FBI, open up! FBI, open up!
And then you'll wind up in jail.
Hello?
So if that's not the kind of way you want to go, my advice would be either you vote via mail, or you just go to the polls and vote, because he's not going to help you. So I advise you to just
Stop it. Get some help.
because you need it. That's crazy. And be sure to join Jay Wilson, Rebel Son, The Official Kingpin, Conscious TV, and Captivating Christian this and every Thursday at 6:45 Central Standard Time, 7:45 Eastern Standard Time for the Gentleman's Panel, where we are not afraid to go there and discuss an array of topics. See you there. Actor Thomas Jefferson Byrd was fatally shot in Georgia Saturday morning, according to the Atlanta police. The officers responded to the Southwest Atlanta for an injured persons call. When the officers arrived, Byrd was found unresponsive, police say. Byrd, age 70, was pronounced dead at the scene with multiple gunshot wounds to the back, police say. His death and the circumstances around it are under investigation. Byrd was born in Griffin, south of Atlanta. He received a bachelor's degree from Morris Brown College in Atlanta and a master's degree from the California Institute of the Arts. Byrd had been a stage actor and worked with director Spike Lee on many projects, including He Got Game, Get on the Bus, Clockers. And this last story, unfortunately, is about actor Thomas Jefferson Byrd, who was fatally shot in the southwest, part of Atlanta. And the police arrived on the scene and found the actor unresponsive. It said that he was shot multiple times in the back. And the circumstances surrounding his death are unknown at this time and is still under investigation. Byrd was 70 years old. He is a graduate of Morris Brown, where he received a bachelor's degree and a master's degree from the California Institute of the Arts. Byrd played in several films which were directed by director Spike Lee, like He's Got Game and Get on the Bus, as well as Clockers. Our prayers go out to his family, but if there's any updates about the murder of Thomas Jefferson Byrd, we will be sure to let you know here at CCN TV. With that, our prayers go out to his family. And once again, thank you for watching CCN Midday News. Hope you enjoyed. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also hit that notification